Hey everybody, I'm glad you're back here. We definitely need you a lot. What we're doing today is we got this 48-foot trailer. Many years ago, somebody converted from a 45 to a 48. They just added about 3 feet onto the back of the trailer. Anyways, what we're doing today is, this is trailer number 18. What we're going to be doing is those numbers up there, that 907843, we're going to do something that's going to save us a little bit. We're going to eliminate the 9, the 0, the 43, and the top of the 7. Then the side will just look like 18. That's one thing we're doing. Another thing we are doing is we already started working on the roll-up door. We have already cut out the 3 bottom panels because they were so rotten that I put my hand on them and I fell through. We had some in stock, these panels right here. The lower one is 15, second one's 15, the upper one is only a 12, but that's all we had in stock. If you look close at the panel that's hanging down, you can see how bad that panel is. We're not replacing it because it's still solid enough for a storage tray. It's going to mount to this one here. Look at that one and think 4 or 5 times worse, to where when you lean against it, you fall through it. We're replacing them, and these are just sitting there. When you get the new bottom panel, it comes with this rubber seal, comes with the strap, and it comes with the handle. And then there's a bag in that's usually attached to this panel, and it has one of these in there. Now, on the inside, it has the roller already here. In the bag there's another one. We've got to install that stuff on here. We're not installing the operator. We're going to be taking the operator down because this trailer has a broken spring. It's a single spring operator. We're just going to pull it down for right now. That way we have it here, because this trailer is going to go to the storage yard after the door is all together. We'll go ahead and do the operator another time, and then we'll go ahead and put our logo on the trailer. On this side, that number I showed you, the 907843, is also over here. We'll do that, what I said about the other side. And then we have a light right here that is kind of busted up. We're going to go ahead and replace that. Brand new light on there, because we want all our trailers to be DOT legal. We need to have lights that work everywhere there is a light. And this is a 48-foot, so it does need one in the middle, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Here's that bag I was just telling you about. It comes with stuff that you need to install the door. There's the piece that the cable would go into, and then here's the bottom roller that goes on like that one. I got to trim this metal piece right here to give me room to be able to put the roller in. I'm going to go ahead and get the grinder with a cutoff blade, trim that metal plate right there back like it is up on that end, so I can put this bottom roller in place, because it will go on this side for the roll. It's really simple. If you use a grinder with a cutoff wheel, just cut the metal, and if you notice, the rubber stays full length. So I gotta pull the rubber out of that metal back as far as I need to go, cut the metal, and then put the rubber back in place, because the way this is made, it actually goes into the rubber to help seal down here. If you look back at the other end of this board, you'll notice that there's a space cut out right here. Like I said, I went ahead and I called it hinge, but it's not really a hinge, it's the roller holder. I cut the metal back to 3 inches. That's like it is on the other end. So there's 3 inches from here to here. Now what I got to do is go ahead, line up right there, this edge and this edge, so I know how far to come in with the router. Normally you go ahead and you mark it, and you don't have to have this right here at the edge of the wood like that, because the way a roller is made, it has the shaft that goes into this hole. So if it winds up being only that far in, it's fine. Now you don't want it all the way out here, but you can put this holder anywhere from where out here to, if you wanted, you could go all the way in there. I don't like doing that. I'm probably gonna have it right about there, because that way the roller shaft will have plenty inside here and it can work back and forth. And the reason it needs to work back and forth is these trailers do twist, and sometimes these panels will slide one way or the other, and these rollers need to be able to stay in track. Now this here, I don't know if you can see how small this one is, but it's only a 1-inch roller. They make two different sizes. They make the 1-inch, which is this one, that's, in my opinion, the small one. And then they make the big one, which is a 2-inch roller, twice the size. Track size, this track is what determines what size you use. Well, these tracks here are designed for 1-inch roller. So a 2-inch roller will not fit. If you try to put a 2-inch in there, it just wouldn't go. And if you take the 1-inch roller and put it in a 2-inch track, it won't stay in the track, because these tracks have a bevel side and a flat side. This bevel side is what keeps the roller from popping out. And if you put a 1-inch roller in where a 2-inch needs to go, it won't stay against this side and stay in the groove part of the track. Okay, the router work is done. As you can see, this will go in there anywhere it needs to. Rubber will go back up in. This lip here will catch the rubber. Not everybody uses a router to do this. I do, because I think it gives a better result using the proper tools. Some people just take a circular saw and go ahead and work it back and forth and just be cutting with the circular saws, basically sideways. I don't like doing that. I like it looking good, or as best as I can. It may not look perfect, but it looks a little more professional if you use the proper tools. And to do something like this, a router is the proper tool. What I did is, these up here, I used them as a guide. So I put my router here, brought the bit down to where it was nice and touching here, and then that's my depth. I used the roller, or the roller holder, to know how far to come in. Now I may have come in a little bit further than I needed to, but that's fine, because I can go anywhere from here, clean down to there if I had to. I'm going to line it up with that. My bolts will go in there and hold it in place. When you go to put this on, you want to put one roller in. I'll put it in the holder that's already made onto the panel that they riveted at factory, and I'll slide it in. I'll have the holes drilled and the bolts in, but I'm not going to bolt this up until after I get it in there. And the reason for that is you need to put the roller in the holder, put it in the track, and then bolt it up. If you don't do it that way, and you bolt the holder up to this and then slide in the other end and then try and put this in, you will never get that roller in there. You have to leave this, be able to take this off or leave it off. And I like to have the holes drilled to where it's already in place, where all I gotta do is put the nuts on it. I got the roller holder in place. I got the 3 bolts drilled. You want to use the proper drill bit, of course. And as you can see, it's down in the slot here. The reason I went ahead and I put this all on, put the bolts in, as I mentioned, these bolts have square underneath the head, and as you can see, they're flat. So right now they're raised up. And the reason you need to do this before putting the door in is because once you put the door in, you're not going to be able to get the bolts in, because they're going to be here is where the holes are going to be. So you're not going to be able to get the bolts in the holes. So what I do is I put this on. I'm going to draw these down with a socket until the heads are flush against the wood, just like a carriage bolt. And a lot of times you use a 7/16 to tighten them down. And I'm just going to, you can use a 1/4 inch impact or a drill or something like that if you wish. I like using the hand tools because that way I can regulate it a lot easier. I have done 1/4 inch impact. I have done the drill. It is a lot quicker. If you're good enough with those tools, that's fine. I can, but I'd rather do it this way. I'm not using up that many batteries. I only have 2 batteries. The hand tools, my arm ain't gonna wear out like the batteries do. But I'm gonna tighten this down, and once I get flush, and I'll take these back off, I'll put a roller in that side, and I'll go ahead and put the door in place so I can get the roller hinges on the top, drill the holes, because I can always lean the door in to put the bolts in once these are in place. And that way it also tells me where I need to move them from here to here. But really that slot on this one isn't much bigger than what the roller hinge is. It don't give me a lot of leeway. If you don't get this thing perfectly straight, that's fine, but you have to be close. And what I did is I lined up with the bottom of the slip against here, bottom of the metal with the bottom of the roller holder. Now, let me turn to the side here. You see there is some play here with the roller. So if you're not perfectly in alignment with the bottom of the door or anything else, you do have a little play. Plus the roller will go in and out, and it has some play in the holder. Got a good bit of play if you wind up being a little off. It's not that critical, but you need to be close. And like I said, going down the road, these trailers do twist and all that. You need to twist the wobble of the roller. Now, if you get a roller that the head doesn't spin, it doesn't rock, the roller needs replaced. It's wore out. Like I told you, it doesn't matter to be perfect, but you can see I got a gap there. I put a hammer in there. The reason I did that is so I could get this back on. There's a lip here that this door sits in. A lot of newer trailers, the door doesn't sit down like that. It normally sits level with the floor. This one is an older trailer, and like I said, they added 3 feet to this trailer to make it a 48. And this trailer, I think, is from the 80s. Usually you won't have this slip and you won't have to put this in. But remember, I told you that you can move the head and you have also gap in the roller. That allows me to have this door at an angle, because that side over there, as you can see, is down in. But I put that roller in the slot and then slid the door in. And I put the roller in here, put the holder on the roller, brought it down, put it on the holes, made sure that the rubber here is actually in the holder. So now I just have to tighten this back up because the bolts are already locked into the wood. This panel will be in place. I just went and got the rollers we have in stock. As you can see, the small one's a 1 inch, the big one's a 2 inch. I got the 3 bottom panels on, 1, 2, 3. This is how they're gonna be. All that has to happen now is that top panel come down and hook up to that one. And as you can see here with these hinges, I didn't do any routering, notching or anything because of the way those type hinges are. It saves a lot of work from having to cut out like I had to for the roller hinges. But I mean, that's all there is to it, to putting the door panels on. There's a couple intermediate panels and a lower panel, and like I said, now that panel just has to come down and bolt up to that one. We already have the notches there for the roller hinges to mount. The holes are already in that panel, even though it's not the best panel, but all there'll be left is to drill the holes in that new panel that we put there to match it up. That's all there is to it, to replacing door panels. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you already haven't. I'm hoping you have. And hit that like button so YouTube knows that these videos are out there to help everybody. Everybody have a better day. Thank you.